Have you ever felt stuck, like all the great ideas are already taken? You're not alone. In fact, research shows that 80% of people believe they have a book inside them, yet only 1 in 5 ever finishes writing it. That's a staggering number of dreams left unrealized. Now, here's a shocking fact: over 90% of new products fail. That means most people who try to create something new don't hit the mark. But don't let these stats discourage you. Instead, let them motivate you to find your unique voice in a crowded world. What if I told you that creativity isn't about inventing something from scratch? It's about seeing things differently, breaking rules, and embracing your personal style. In this video, we'll explore powerful strategies that can help you create something fresh, even when it feels like everything's already been done. Get ready to break the mold with practical tips, inspiring examples, and a new mindset. Whether you're an artist, a writer, or just someone looking to spark creativity in everyday life, there's something here for you. Let's dive in and unlock your creative potential. Chapter 1. Break the Blueprint: How to Smash Expectations. Most creative work follows a formula. There's a blueprint to almost everything we see, whether it's a song, a movie, or even a business idea. But what if we stopped following those patterns? When you break free from the usual rules, you allow yourself to innovate. Here's a surprising fact: when companies experiment with breaking away from what's expected, they often succeed. A study by the Harvard Business Review found that companies encouraging creativity were 1.5 times more likely to have significant market share growth. Take Netflix, for example. When it broke away from traditional TV scheduling and gave people the ability to binge-watch shows, it changed the entertainment industry forever. Sometimes, what seems like the wrong way of doing things can actually be revolutionary. You don't have to throw away the entire rulebook, but you can rip out a few pages. Instead of following trends, question them. What would happen if you flipped a concept on its head? Could you tell a story backward? Could you use a different medium? The goal is to make your audience pause and think, wait, I didn't expect that. In fact, there's a great quote from Austin Kleon, the author of Steal Like an Artist. Don't wait until you know who you are to get started. You don't need everything figured out. Start creating and let the process itself lead you somewhere unexpected. Chapter 2. Remixing the Familiar: Finding Freshness in What Exists. Ever heard of the saying, good artists copy, great artists steal? That's attributed to Picasso, but its message is still relevant. The best creators don't always start from scratch. Instead, they take something familiar and give it a new spin. That's the power of remixing. Think about it. Modern hip-hop is built on sampling. Artists take beats or sounds from old records and rework them into something fresh. Kanye West, for example, famously sampled "Strange Fruit" in his song "Blood on the Leaves," blending the old with the new to create something that felt entirely original. This concept applies to more than just music. Even some of the most successful products and innovations in history are remixes. Take the iPhone. It wasn't the first smartphone, but it combined features from existing phones, music players, and computers into one sleek, user-friendly package. Here's a quick fact: 94% of successful innovations are simply improvements or combinations of existing ideas, according to a study published by Harvard's Clayton Christensen. So, how can you remix what's already out there? Start by looking for connections. What happens when you bring two unrelated ideas together? A new business concept could come from merging two seemingly distant industries. A fresh piece of art might be born by combining different styles. The point is, you don't have to invent the wheel. You just have to roll it in a new direction. Chapter 3. Divergent Thinking: Embrace the Power of Crazy Ideas. The next step in creating something new is learning to let your mind wander. This is where divergent thinking comes in. Divergent thinking is all about generating many solutions to a single problem. It's when you brainstorm ideas, no matter how wild they seem. Why does this work? When you give yourself permission to explore even the craziest ideas, you open the door to innovation. The goal isn't to come up with the perfect idea on the first try. It's to gather as many ideas as possible. A study by Stanford University found that people who practice divergent thinking tend to be more innovative in their work, as it leads to a wider range of solutions. Let's look at Pixar. The team behind Toy Story and Inside Out is known for their creativity. They regularly hold brainstorming sessions where even the most absurd ideas are thrown into the mix. Sometimes those ridiculous suggestions spark the most incredible stories. The trick is not to judge your ideas too early. When you give yourself the freedom to go beyond what makes sense, you discover solutions that no one else could think of. A great example of this is the invention of the Post-it note. It was a complete accident. Researchers at 3M were trying to create a super strong adhesive and ended up with a glue that barely stuck. But someone thought, wait, maybe this could be useful. That useless adhesive became one of the most iconic office products ever. Here's a quote from Edward de Bono, the psychologist who developed the idea of lateral thinking. Creativity involves breaking out of expected patterns in order to look at things in a different way. Sometimes, the most creative solutions are the ones that don't follow logic at first glance. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to unlock your creative potential. Chapter 4. Controlled Chaos. How constraints fuel innovation. It might sound strange, but limitations can make you more creative. Whether it's a lack of time, money, or resources, having constraints forces you to think in new ways. There's actually science behind this. According to a study in the Journal of Consumer Research, people given fewer options tend to come up with more innovative ideas than those with unlimited choices. A great example of this is Dr. Seuss. When he wrote Green Eggs and Ham, he was challenged to use only 50 different words. That limitation didn't stifle his creativity, it made the book a classic. The truth is, having everything at your disposal can be overwhelming. Constraints push you to use what you have in ways you might not have thought of before. As Twyla Tharp, author of The Creative Habit, says, art is the only way to run away without leaving home. Tharp often emphasizes that restrictions in art are what lead to breakthroughs. Even companies thrive under limitations. Look at Instagram. Initially, it was just a photo-sharing app with a limited filter set. That simplicity helped it become a social media giant. By focusing on what they could do well within tight constraints, they nailed a niche that exploded into something bigger. If you're feeling stuck, try setting your own boundaries. Give yourself less time to complete a project, or limit the tools you can use. You'll be surprised at how your brain rises to the challenge. Chapter 5. Embracing the creative rut. Transforming blockages into breakthroughs. Everyone hits a creative rut. It's frustrating, but it's also a natural part of the process. Instead of fighting it, what if you learn to embrace it? Here's a secret. Being in a creative block can actually lead to your biggest breakthroughs. Research from Northwestern University found that people who are stuck in a creative rut often come up with more original ideas after they've struggled with a problem for a while. It's called creative incubation. By taking time away from a project and allowing your mind to rest, new ideas often bubble to the surface. Take J.K. Rowling. She famously hit a massive creative block while writing Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. She spent time in her writer's block reflecting on the deeper themes of her story. The result? The book became one of the most complex and beloved in the series. So how can you turn a creative block into a stepping stone? The first step is to accept it. Don't try to force ideas out. Step back, go for a walk, or focus on something entirely different. You might even find that doing something mundane, like washing dishes or folding laundry, can give your brain the space it needs to work through the problem in the background. There's a great quote by Elizabeth Gilbert from her book Big Magic. Frustration is not an interruption of your process. Frustration is the process. Sometimes, that stuck feeling is just the beginning of something amazing. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips on unlocking your creativity and bringing your ideas to life.